Hello and welcome to the July 2025 Evil Hat State of the Hat. There's so many hats there. It's almost like you might need to put an actual hat, oh my God, on your head. Yes, you can now get Evil Hat beanies on our web store. So you can actually wear an Evil Hat of your own. How cool is that? All right, this month I have updates on all our current projects. And at the very end, I have an announcement about a brand new project that I've been teasing for quite some time now. I'm very excited to be able to talk about it. So stick around till the end to find out our latest game that is we've just announced and that you can playtest if you are interested. All right, let's go ahead and see if I can do this transition. Click. Yes, success. All right, first thing to talk about is Dice Pool. Last month, we did a fantastic interview with Michael, Merrick, and Luke about Hunter's Journal and Slayer's Survival Kit. We continue to do these State of the Hat updates every month. Dice Pool is the gift that keeps giving. It was a crowdfunding campaign last year, and it's helped us create a ton of great video content of GM interviews and these updates. The GM interviews were released originally just to backers, but we are now editing them so that we are going to break them up into little 10-minute segments for each individual question. So they'll be easier to digest. And we're going to release those to YouTube so everybody will have access to them soon. Thank you, Dice Pool, for making all this possible. All right, let's get into projects. Stewpot is up for a ENNIE for Best Family Game 2025. If you are going to Gen Con and you're attending the ENNIEs, please cheer, please chant. I believe that voting is actually is closed down right now, so unfortunately I can't ask you to vote for it, but I'm hoping that a lot of fans already did, and there's some stiff competition in that category. Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast is also up for it. So fantastic games, and I'm sure no matter what it is, an amazing game is going to take the gold and the silver. All good stuff in the category. But very pleased that Stewpot was nominated. So thanks, ENNIEs, folks. All right, Deep Cuts, the crowdfunding campaign is complete. We'll be launching the backer kit pledge management / pre-order / late pledge in probably about 2 weeks. We need to get a few art assets ready for it. So we originally thought late July, but now it's looking more like early August. All of the pledge levels that were available during the campaign will be available through pre-order. So if you wanted to get something like the Red Ledger or the maps or any of the other goodies that came in the campaign, those will be available. And speaking of Red Ledger, Chris Viana has done a first pass at it, and we have a few early drafts of the content. So, for instance, each scoundrel will have a spread where you keep track of their clocks, their important contacts, notes about them. The crew will have a spread where you keep track of their hunting grounds and their clocks and their turf and how folks feel about them. There's also going to be, I don't have it in here yet because the spread's still in development. There's also going to be spreads for each of the factions and how each faction that is involved in the game is advancing their own clocks and their own agendas and their relationship with the crew. So for each notebook, you're going to have a full campaign's worth of content in terms of having lots of factions and all the things that they're getting up to so that you can track. Each score will have its own tracker, so you'll know how much rep and coin that you got at the end of the scores, as well as the tracks that happened and the entanglements that came from them. It's going to be a fantastic reference as you're playing along. I'm running a Blade 68 game right now. This is my regular journal, and I'm up to something like page 70, 75 or so of my notes that all look, they're all sort of scattered and all over the place, and having a place to structure them is going to make that fantastic. I'm at session 19 in this game, and I've got about almost halfway through this journal. So I think when we create the Red Ledger, it's going to have room for a fairly exhaustive campaign. You're going to have lots of room in this. Blade 68, what's going on with that? Tian Deng is an absolute machine. Every single week he's sending me updates. They are so much fun to read, and I've been giving lots of feedback as we go, and it's just been an absolute delight to work on this game. I have a few little snippets from the latest draft, which is over 400 pages. Y'all, this is getting to the size of Band of Blades. This game is going to be a monster. look at just the table of contents alone. This is, we lost track of page numbers along the way, but this is just some of the great content that's going to be in the book. There's a great section on touchstones, which I think is really useful because Tim is a genre mashup kind of guy. If you look at Deathmatch Island, it is definitely Hunger Games and Battle Royale, but it's also Prisoner and X-Files. So there's a lot of genre mashup that he likes to do, and that's true in Blade 68 as well. There is spy fiction, there is crime capers, and there is weird sci-fi, and some movies do mix those, but Tim has really thrown everything together. And so this is a great sense of some of the media that inspired him and that might also inspire you as you're running your games. Here's a great spread on the characters. Sort of, the Age of Consensus is a whole lot of hooey. And I think I can swear on this. It's a whole lot of bullshit. And your characters are troublemakers. They're chancers. They're scoundrels. And this gives you the list of all the playbooks, which are every single one of them absolutely amazing. From the veteran to the intellectual, the paranormalist, the trapped hull, they're all fantastic. And these are just the base playbooks. There's also a few paranormal playbooks. They'll be included in the book as well, like the Time Traveler. And then, of course, the crews. Are you a hit squad? Are you a bunch of militants that are trying to make change? Are you dealers? Do you believe in a utopic future that is probably not actually a utopia the closer you get to it? Are you racers? Are you shadows? The crews are fantastic. I've been playing our game's been a group of shadows, but I've also played militants, and I know I've been reading about some actual play of some dealers. Man, I just love that in the 60s era genre, dealers could mean so many different things. This could mean contraband music. This could mean fashion that is, it's all contraband, I guess, but this could mean music. It could mean fashion. It could mean art. It could mean experiences like parties. It, of course, could mean drugs. It could mean arms. It could mean all the things that we're sort of associated with the moment we hear the word dealer, but it could be paranormal stuff. There's so many products that are restricted or contraband or illegal that your crew could be moving. And maybe they're just in it for the money, or maybe they really want to provide this very vital service to people. Maybe it's both. All right. Tim has also updated the gameplay cycle to include all of the elements in Blade 68. So you'll see the score that you're used to from Blades. Downtime is now sort of wrapped in personal business, which includes free play and downtime and dealing with trouble. There's an aftermath score and a planning meeting where you pick the different. You look at the different meetings that you might play, and then there's a cycle that happens in between sessions. There's a little like GM work that you can do, which as a GM I really enjoy. I love anything that kind of gives me ideas for the next session. And the Trouble Engine is a fantastic way to figure out how the world is changing around the characters and the crew. As they do things, it changes as well. And the Trouble Engine is just a fantastic way to keep track of that without it getting too overwhelming because there's so many factions, but giving you enough meat that in your next session, you can introduce some new things the characters might not be expecting, on top of all the struggles they probably were expecting. All right, Dagger Isles, more Blades in the Dark work. Pam, John, and I are all doing a ton of deep delving into the playbooks, into the crews. We're also creating a naval combat system, and we're also really expanding the Church. The Church of the Ecstasy of the Flesh in Blades is just a faction. There's not a whole lot about it, but because it's the primary tool of the Imperium in their colonizing efforts of the Dagger Isles, we're building it up quite a bit. We're also building up all of the Banyans, like Baragan, and which are the different subcultures within the Dagger Isles. So there's tons of development there as well. Really excited for Dagger Isles to keep progressing. No immediate updates that we're going to have in terms of releases, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know. Monster of the Week, Hunter's Journal, and Slayer's Survival Kit are out. They're available now. You can get them on our web store. You can get them at drive-thru. You can get them in your friendly local gaming store. You can pick up the VTT modules, lovingly made by Sophie Lagasse. There's over almost 50. I think there's over 45 different components in the modules for Hunter's Journal and Slayer's Survival Kit. Hunter's Journal has 33 add-ons for each of the Hunter's mysteries, and Slayer Survival Kit, I think, has another 13. And then there's the base unit, the art packs, the compendiums. Yeah, we're probably close to 50 components. So much in there. You can add it to your existing Monster of the Week game, and there's just tons of material. Crispiano made beautiful tokens and backdrops. So even if all you do is use the art assets for your own VTT, there's just an enormous wealth of content in there. And yeah, the games are available now. Umdaar, Planet of Swords, Super Science, and Sorcery. Umdaar, the work has really progressed. We've gotten a real focus on the work. The text felt like it was sort of going in multiple directions, all good directions, but not all the same direction. It was both a game with a setting and also a toolkit about how to make a setting. And we love both of those things, but that's actually two different products. So now we're working on getting it focused, just like other Fate games, like Tachyon Squadron or Uprising or Fate of Cthulhu. This game is going to have a strong setting with the Freelands and the Wildernexus and the Dread Domains. There's going to be masters and threats and dignitaries and rebels and rune keepers. And then all of the, like, how do you build this stuff material, probably going to pull into like a supplemental piece or PDFs because we still want to keep that, but we want to keep the game nice and focused. That'll make it more digestible and also keep the flow of play very straightforward. So we're really excited about sort of teasing out each of those bits. Next up is Abyssal, which Ash and Laura and now John LaBeouf are working on quite a bit. Ash is taking each of the playbooks and really detailing them out and giving full anecdotes, full detailed versions of the abilities and what they mean and how the playbooks can be played. The city playbooks are already very comprehensive, have tons of characters, have tons of things going on, and now the character playbooks are going to have a lot more filled out as well. So yes, it's such a, I always love, I think Abyssal is so brilliant for the city playbooks because instead of a crew or a ship or something else, the common playbook is the time and the place that you're in. And I think, the difference between 19th century London and 20th century Las Vegas is a big shift. And those city playbooks do a whole lot of heavy lifting to make you feel monstrous and on the edge no matter where and when you are. So that work continues underway. Rangers of the Broken World has just hit a big milestone. The final, the edit-ready text has been turned in, so it's in editing right now. We'll probably start commissioning a few pieces of art for the cover and maybe a few iconics. We're likely to see this crowdfunding next year. I'm really excited about these rangers who have made pacts with these noble demons, and they're trying to make this dark fairy tale world a little bit of a better place. This is a game about hope. It's a game about possibilities in a trying and difficult world. If you're curious about it and you would like to know more about Leon's design methodology, you can check out the Design Diaries. Leon has made a bunch of design diaries, which I'm posting once a week. And the current, most recent ones are about each of the individual playbooks. But if you scroll back a bit, you'll see the design ethos behind the game itself. And as we continue forward, we're going to have more of the in-game, the settings and the encounters and the creatures within them. We're going to have design diaries about those as well. So check those out. They're each short. They're 5 to 800 words each. And I think that they will get you excited about this game. I know I am. I've played the Arcanist, and it was an absolute blast. The Infiltrator I've had my eye on. The Sky Cavalier is incredible. All these playbooks are so amazing, and it's really great to see Leon's inspiration for each of them, because they weren't, how do I make 8 character, 9 playbooks that fit in this world? It was, how do I fit these ideas I have that are so cool for these characters into this game? And it's, they're really great. So I highly recommend checking those design diaries out. They're at evilhat.com/blog. GodKiller, a holy punk RPG for 1 player, the GodKiller, and 1 GM the God by Connie Chang. I know I just read what you're seeing on the page, but it's so cool I have to read it. Connie is working with Ray Najati and C to really refine the game. There's Ray sent over a huge review of their system development feedback, and Connie and Ray have been working through it. And there's just the game was fantastic as is, but we really wanted to broaden it. So it was originally meant for just 2 players, the GM and the GodKiller, the God and the GodKiller. But Connie is developing a single player version and a multiplayer version. We're also adding in the GM advice, a lot of the best practices of playing the game. So much great content is going into GodKiller. Yeah, we're delighted. And it'll be our first game that has a solo option, which is awesome, because a lot of folks have been asking, hey, can you play this game solo? And so far, our games haven't had that. So we're really glad to add something into the solo. It's not the default mode, but it is going to be a very strong mode presented, and very happy to add something that has solo options into the world. Next up is Tian Deng. I just had a meeting with Banana and Sen, which was amazing, as we're going through all the moves and the way boons and curses with both you and the ship's artificial consciousness, the AC, how they interact. You're going to be playing aunties and uncles and grandmas and grandpas and really capable, awesome characters that are getting ready for their retirement. Think the landlady in Kung Fu Hustle. Think that energy. Badass. Maybe every once in a while your hip acts up, and you're looking at life as what your final hurrah is going to be, and the hurrahs are hilarious. I can't mix it together. They're hilarious. They're fantastic. We just finished the full round of revisions. There was lots of them that we're making post playtest, and now we're doing a full read through to make sure that everything is cohesive and matches and works together. We're about halfway through that, so I'm pretty excited about this post playtest revision process. More updates on Tian Deng as we have them. As the Sun Forever Sets by Riley Daniels is the game of a Martian invasion, and the fallout from it. Your characters are amongst the British Empire as the empire is collapsing. And it's a hex crawler game. It's a horror game. It's a Forge in the Dark game. It's a resource management game. There is a lot going on in this game, and there are a lot of dials that Riley is working on fine-tuning. Strash, who co-created Scum and Villainy and Band of Blades, is working on this with Riley, and their minds are like fire, and they're just building some very cool stuff. So this is also in post playtest revisions. More on this as we have more updates about it. Project Perseus. Speaking of Strash and John, this game had been on hiatus for a little bit, and we're back at it. I'm meeting with both of them on a weekly basis, and the progress of developing the cities, developing the directors, developing the departments within the agency, the agents themselves, the handlers, the threats, the Delta and the Sigma threat level threats. Just real delighted with how this progress is going. And yeah, I think that end of the year-ish, because game development takes as long as game development takes, but I think end of the year-ish, we should probably have a next playable version. So very excited to see this keep moving along. All right, here, I told you that I was going to make an announcement. It's possible you've already heard this because I might have released this after the announcement came, but Evil Hat is all about turning passion into great games. That's our jam. And this is a game that I am very passionate about. I was a huge fan of the books. I am a huge fan of the author who created them. I'm a huge fan of the game designer who has made the game based on them. I love the kind of action of this game. Okay, I've been teasing it too long. We are making Streets of Jade, the Greenbone Saga RPG. Yes, this is the official game based on Fonda Lee's Jade City, Jade War, Jade Legacy novels. Fonda has been working with James Mendez-Hodes, the creator, to make this game. And so over the last year or two, over the last while now, we've been internally playtesting this. We've been developing it. Sen Feng Lim, who is also working on Tian Deng, has been a system development consultant on this. Fonda has been very active in it, which is fantastic. And we're just very delighted to release this Paragon game. Yes, I am perhaps a little bit biased because Paragon was partially my creation, but it really, really fits. And you can see there's a lot going on. This is the playtest draft, so do not judge this as final, but we've got a amazing character sheet right here where you will see some things that look familiar if you've played Agon, you know, the domains, arts and oration, blood and valor, etc. But you're gonna also see a lot of new things on here, like Jade and gifts. There's a lot of really cool tech that Mendez has added to Streets of Jade, including factions. The faction game, this sheet looks very dense. But it's dense because each faction has a number of officers and a number of assets and a number of favors. And when you're playing, one of the options you're going to have is to lean on your faction for help. And that's great. But when your faction helps you, they're also going to claim a portion of the glory, a portion of the benefit from what you've taken. And those factions are going to develop. And the factions will have different assets that will increase and grow. And as long as they're backing you, that's great. But what happens when you go against your faction? And now the tables are turned, and that same faction you've been helping grow is now opposed to you, because the choice between personal duty and the goals of your faction are absolutely a part of the Greenbone Saga, and they'll absolutely be a part of the Streets of Jade. All right, that is everything we've got for July. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to this whole video. If you've got questions about Evil Hat, the projects we're working on, you can comment in this YouTube video. You can email feedback@evilhat.com. You can go to the Evil Hat website and check out the project status page where I update the projects, all of our projects every week. You will now see Streets of Jade added to that list as well, or at least it'll be there shortly. And you can keep track of all the projects as we develop them. Thanks again for watching, and keep on gaming.